Hello, my name is Benji and welcome to Dice vs Cards. Today we review Root in 5 minutes or less. We're going to find out if you can combine area control and hand management with a game where the core rules aren't the primary reason to play. But most importantly, we consider whether you can realistically go full asymmetrical without the wheels coming off. Root is at its heart a strategic war game with area control playing the most prominent role in success or failure. You play as woodland creatures looking to push their differing agendas. The game employs point-to-point movement, which sees you constructing buildings in clearings that you then jockey for rulership of, and recruiting warriors to ensure that your little domains remain safe from the forces of the other players. It's from those clearings that you carry out all of the actions during your turn, the sequence of which takes place one player at a time and is remarkably straightforward at first glance. You begin with the bird song, much like an upkeep or pat on the back to help you with the remainder of your go. Then comes the daylight, where you'll take the bulk of your actions, and finally the evening, which is your refresh and draw phase. Now to the curveball, because this is a variable player power led game more than it is driven by the core rules. Taking conventional asymmetry, where each player benefits from tweaks to a basic formula, and flipping it upside the head. The 4 factions you choose from each have their own rule set that goes off on its own tangent to secure game winning points. Being it the building obsessed Marquise, the let's reclaim what was once ours Erie, the fighting for the oppressed Woodland Alliance, and the sneaky and manipulative Vagabond. Playing each is like experiencing a new sub-game, and the way they interact with each other makes for a great deal of variety every time you're at the table. So why might you like the game? Well, of course, the different approaches that each faction takes to winning will be at the top of that list. There's a great deal of thought and ingenuity that's gone into the design of all 4. In fact, without each of them playing as disparately as they do, the game wouldn't be half as strategic. Furthermore, with their differing complexity, you'll likely find yourself changing favourites over time. A game that brings this much individuality would inevitably buckle under its own weight if it didn't have the core mechanics to prop it up. And Root's blend of area control, bumping uglies with conflict resolution, and the hand management elements that combine with the suit matching of your cards offer an elegant delivery mechanism for all the actions you can take. Be it crafting cards, flipping the switch on an attacker who ordinarily commands the natural advantage, to accessing the alternative win condition cards. There's a common thread to all the actions you can take here, which you'll certainly be glad for in the midst of trying to figure out how to master your chosen faction. Finally, a word for the thematic connection with each faction's playstyle. Be it the Marquise, who start everywhere, seemingly in control of things, and who just want to continue their expansion and growth, to the downtrodden Woodland Alliance, looking to spread sympathy for their cause in order to grow their uprising. Each faction is extremely well attuned to their background and fluff, rewarding players almost across the board with a game that thematically and mechanically offers layers and layers of depth. But why might you not like it? Well, for some this is going to be a step too far in terms of everyone starting with different tools to win the game. Whilst the core mechanics are easy to learn, mastering each faction's playstyle is certainly not. So if you're playing with a group that has differing understanding of the game's nuances, you'll likely be subject to some unbalanced and wonky war games. You also might yearn for a bit of pizzazz and engaging interactivity in your games. The rewards in this game are more about the journey than the destination, and there aren't that many moments of standout wonderment. The same can be said about your interactions with other players. You generally do unto others instead of fully interacting with them, which means it's hard to feel totally invested in the way the game plays when it's not your turn. For similar games, you might want to try this if you liked Lords of Hellas or Scythe. But when all's said and done, this is what trying something different should look like. A game that has more layers than a Funyun and has rightfully received a lot of buzz. However, that's it from me. I'll see you next time. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a game. Then it's 1, 2, 3 0 points at